Hey, what's up, reefers? I'm Reefer Matt, and welcome back to the Reef Cave. Today I thought I'd share some of my reefing secrets with you. The first secret is that I look at my tanks as often as possible. I check for any pests, any issues with the coral, any issues with the fish, any equipment issues, and I make sure that everything's running and acting the way it's supposed to. If you don't look at your tanks, it's kind of hard to notice a problem before it starts or when it just starts, so you can take care of it as soon as possible. My next secret is that I use cheap equipment where I can. I use Jabo return pumps and Jabo wave makers. I used to have black box lighting. I switched to Kessel a couple of years ago because I like them for the shimmer and also for how they color up coral. But if you're just starting out, don't be afraid to use cheap equipment and try it and see how it works for you. Another secret of mine is that every tank has its own separate sump. This way, if something happens in one tank, it won't happen in all of them, and I can treat one tank at a time. This has been very convenient for me when I need to take care of some algae issues or any little pests that pop up. I can take care of that one tank and not have to worry about it affecting another. My next secret is not much of a secret for most reefers, but for my success, I feed my LPS and my Zilla coral. I feed them with reef roids and reef chili. I feed them once a week. For me, I feed them on Fridays just so I remember. And it has really helped in their coral health and their coloration. My next secret may be controversial to some, but I feed my fish every other day. This helps me control nitrate and phosphate issues, but I also make sure to feed my fish enough so that they don't starve. Your tank may be different, so you may have like things like anthias that need to be fed every day, but I also make sure that the fish that I have do not have to be fed often and that they can wait an extra day to be fed. My next reefing secret is that I do my tank maintenance. Now, while everybody should do their tank maintenance, my secret is that I make it easy for me to do and not so much easy for the reef. Now, I make sure that it's convenient for me to do my water changes and to do my testing so that it allows me to do it when I'm supposed to do it. I do my water changes on some tanks once a month, depending on nitrates and phosphates, and other tanks every 2 weeks, depending on the same thing. So if you make your maintenance easy for you to do, you will do it more often. And along with water changes and tank maintenance, I vacuum the sand in my tanks at least once a month. This allows built up detritus to be removed from the tank, which will cause phosphate and nitrate issues on the sand or on the rocks. So make sure if you have sand to vacuum it regularly to get rid of any detritus. Another reefing secret of mine is that I keep my hands out of the tank as often as possible. I'll use tongs or grabbers to grab coral or snails to flip them over rather than putting my hands in the tank. Now, sometimes it's unavoidable when you're doing your tank maintenance, but keeping your hands out of the tank as often as possible will go a long way in your coral health. Your hands have bacteria and oils and dirts and all kinds of things on them. So to keep that out of the tank as often as possible will help. Another secret of mine is that I leave my light and flow settings alone. Once the tank is set up, I don't touch them ever again. The reason is because corals like stability, and if you mess with stability, you mess with coral health. And lastly, the final secret of mine is that I dip every single coral. Every coral that comes in gets dipped and inspected. So if you're not dipping your coral, you're inviting pests into your tank. Well, that'll do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing. This will let YouTube know that you enjoyed it, and they'll share it with others. This is Reefer Matt. Thank you for watching, and happy reefing.